Ladder drills will not make you more agile. Here's what will.
Sanders found the hole, puts the move on.
3 points. Iverson, wow, what a fake on Daniels as he broke his ankles.
Okay, so first of all, what is agility? It's your ability to accelerate, stop on a dime, and then change direction the other way. Think of athletes like Barry Sanders, Allen Iverson. These guys could just accelerate, stop on a dime, the other guy keeps going, and they're already headed in the other direction. What actually improves agility? It comes down to a couple key qualities that you can improve. Okay, the number one physical quality that's going to help improve your agility is going to be your relative strength. That is your strength to body weight ratio. Research shows an incredibly high correlation with relative strength and your ability to not only accelerate, but to change direction quickly. If you're not strong enough compared to your own body weight, you're not physically capable of absorbing the ground force, stopping, and then transitioning back the other direction. So focusing on bringing up movements like your cleans, front squats, back squats, deadlifts is going to have a massive impact on your ability to change direction. Number two, and this one's arguably more important, is eccentric strength. That's your ability of your body to produce force while the muscles are lengthening. This is also known as the braking force. So when you're running at full speed, you need to make a cut. Your body has to load the ground force while it's eccentrically lengthening, stop in order to redirect it. If we're thinking of like a vertical jump, it would be when you're doing a vertical jump, as you're going down and trying to load your body's lengthening, it's stretching like a rubber band in order to spring back up. You can do a test if you lack eccentric strength. A very simple one would be to do a static jump. So you would get down into a vertical jump, you'd pause where you'd want to take off for about 3 seconds. It kind of takes away that stretch that you're able to utilize, and then test your vert from there. And then on the next one, you would do what's called a counter movement jump. So you would go arms overhead, you could do hands on hip, whatever you want. But basically, you would then utilize that eccentric lengthening by going down fast and then up. And if it's a lot higher, chances are you're really good at utilizing eccentric forces. If it's close to the same, chances are you're not very good at utilizing those eccentric forces. It's a weak link. And if you bring that up, it's going to help your change of direction a lot. Okay, so how do you train eccentric strength? A very common way, and I think it does help, is to do like tempo squats, where you're basically slowing down the lowering phase of the lift. So you can do like a 4-second eccentric and then come back up fast. Again, that does help your eccentric strength capabilities. How much it's going to help you cut and change direction faster? Probably a bit, but I think what helps more are plyometrics. So we do a whole bunch of plyometrics here at Wilmington Strength. Shout out Matt Watson, by the way. If you haven't looked him up, look him up. I learned pretty much most of this stuff from him and how he categorizes different plyos, and we've implemented it and seen great results. So we would do some leaps, which would be 2-foot jumps, hops, which are single leg jumps, and bound, which are switching, alternating jumps. So right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. You can also categorize them into like high ones where you're doing really quick ground contact times. As soon as your foot touches the ground, you're right back up. Probably correlate to like sprinting fast a little bit more. And then you could do what he calls deep tier ones, where you're going into a full range of motion, going really, really deep, and then exploding back up. And you're getting into those deep range of motions that you would see and are very similar to ranges of motions in change of direction and agility. So the speed of those movements and the variety that you can get in terms of lateral bounds, so you're jumping left foot to right foot and getting deep into these range of motions, depth jumps, anything where you're absorbing the ground and then firing back off, especially single leg stuff, is really highly correlated with your ability to change direction. Okay, number 3, a good thing to work on will be unilateral lifting, single leg strength. Studies have shown it's more highly correlated than simply bilateral lifting like a squat in terms of change of direction and agility. I think a big reason why is because your cutting is going to take place on one foot at a time. So when you lift like a rear foot elevated split squat on one leg at a time, you're going to work like the glute medius, the adductor, some of those stabilizing muscles a little bit more. Again, I don't think it's the be all end all, but I think adding in some kind of unilateral training, single leg squats, split squats, RFE split squats is going to correlate with you being able to change direction a little bit better. All right, number 4, maybe the most important is actually just practicing change of direction. Whether that's in your sport, or we like to test our change of direction with like a 505 agility drill where you're running 10 yards as fast as you can. You plant at that 10-yard line and come back through as fast as you can. We have a timing gate set up at 5 yards, and we test it frequently to make sure that this quality is improving. But just getting good shin angles, learning how to apply force into the ground, learning how to stop, lower your hips, turn your hips, plant, go the other direction. That's probably the best thing that you can do. All right, now here's my potentially unpopular opinion. There's really two sides to agility, what we call agility. So there's the physical qualities of you, like your eccentric strength, relative strength, your ability to cut and then reaccelerate in the other direction. And I feel like the job of the strength coach is to bring up those qualities so the player, hopefully it translates to on the field. The other side of it is your decision making and you're reacting to what's going on the field. So as an example, if you're a cornerback, it's your ability to, as you're dropping back in your back pedal, read the receiver's hips, know probably where he's going to start a slant if he's going to come in, where he's going to start an out if he's going to go out, what down and distance is it. If you're a linebacker, reading your A gaps. It's the decision-making process. My unpopular opinion is I don't think doing tennis ball drills where you're having athletes of all different sports and they're running and catching tennis balls with their left hand as they do a 360 or whatever is necessarily going to translate to a cornerback being able to read hips of a receiver, know where his alignment is, what route he's probably going to run, and being able to close on that route and break up the pass. I think that's a sport-specific skill that's going to come by actually practicing your sport, being a linebacker, learning how to read guards, see the A-gap opening up and hitting it, as opposed to doing lots of hand-eye coordination, tennis ball drills, and stuff like that. So what we do in the gym is bring up the physical capacity and the qualities that's going to allow that athlete to change direction faster. He or she is going to practice their sport and get better at decision making with the physical qualities that they've built up. But I am honestly curious to know, if you're a coach or an athlete, what you think about that. Please let me know in the comments. So in closing, if you're an athlete, you want to improve your agility, improve your relative strength to body weight ratio, work on your eccentric strength, primarily through things like plyometrics, where you're loading and springing back up in multiple directions, 1 foot, 2 foot. Do some single leg strength work, practice cutting and changing direction, and then practice your sport. Ladder drills are optional.